How do you deal with the toxic relationships in your life? I think this video applies to pretty much every human on this planet. I think we've all experienced some level of toxic relationship in our life. How do we appropriately deal with them? That's what we're gonna talk about in this video. I hope that you find this so helpful. I think the best way to appropriately deal with a toxic relationship in your life is to first look at who you are. That might be frustrating or annoying because you might be like, well, my spouse or my parents or my sibling or whatever, they're the problems. They're the ones that are not treating me well, whatever. I understand, I validate that, but first we need to look at who we are, and then we can unlock this unbelievable ability to release any sort of resentment, come to a place of forgiveness and love and gratitude. But when you consider who you are as a person, how do you answer that question? Ask yourself that question right now, who am I? And if you answer that like most people answer that, you're probably like, I have a name, this is where I live, I'm married or not, I have a kid or not, I do this as a profession. That is the human experience, but I believe that's not who you really are. I have a video on this channel that talks about the trinity of self. There's different layers of self, and the first layer that most people identify with is that ego human layer. I'm not saying this is like the worst thing in the world. I'm just saying that's not who you really are. Take away all of those roles and responsibilities, take your name away, take away every memory that you have and every event that's ever happened in your life, and you're still there. These things don't define who you are. You are much more than that. You go beyond this human experience. You go beyond the ego. Who you really are is this limitless, expansive consciousness that is the source of all love, life, and goodness. I believe that you and I are the same being living out a different expression. Now, before you click out of this video, because you might not believe this woo-woo stuff, just give it a chance, because I've had firsthand experience of literally having full resentment in a relationship, going to detachment, forgiveness, and very real love and gratitude. And it's this worldview that has allowed me to do that. Now, when you identify as this human experience, or you identify as your ego, every relationship that you have can become toxic at some point or another. Anyone can say anything to bother you, frustrate you, cause anger, cause bitterness, cause resentment. All roads lead to hell when you're attached to your ego. So you may have clicked on this video because you have a particular toxic relationship in mind that you want resolution from, and I hope that this is helpful. But any relationship that you have can become toxic when we're identified with this ego, this version, this human version of you that's not who you really are. And I believe it's when you detach from that identification and into an identification of, I'm actually this limitless, expansive consciousness that's the source of all love, life, and goodness. That is when you can find very real resolution to your toxic relationships, where you can find real forgiveness and real love. Now, let me give you an example of what I mean by this. So based off of my upbringing and different things that happened, I'm not gonna go into the specifics, but I had a lot of built up resentment towards my parents. Just recently, in the last couple months actually, it kind of blew up into this massive problem. There was a point when I thought there was potential for estrangement, but resentment is not something I want in my life whatsoever. So I needed to find a way to forgive them when I wasn't receiving the appropriate understanding or apology that I felt necessary. How can you forgive someone that doesn't appropriately apologize for the hurts that they have caused? How can you let go of resentment when they don't understand how you're actually feeling and why you feel the way that you feel? How do you do that? I'll tell you how I did that. I went on a walk and I was so mad. I was so frustrated at the situation between myself and my parents. I was so upset. And I went on this walk, and the purpose of that walk was answering that question. How can I forgive them? And when I say forgive, what I mean by that is I don't want any negative emotional reaction, even at the thought of them. And how do I get to that point without receiving the proper apology or understanding that I feel necessary? And I was trying my best to answer that question, and here's what happened. First of all, from a consciousness perspective, I reflected on my parents. I love them tremendously, and I'm not trying to like throw shade at them or anything like that. And this is no judgment. I would say that they're attached to the human self, that they would identify as this human experience. And what I believe is that when you're attached to ego, all roads lead to hell. So if I view them with that lens, that brings me to empathy and compassion. Because I believe when you're identified with pure consciousness, with love, life, and goodness, that is heaven. That completely changes everything in your life, because now you have unconditional love because you see each other as one. We're the same spirit, different living expressions. So when I view them from a conscious perspective, that brings me to empathy and compassion, because I believe that ego identification is really challenging. It's a challenging way to live because anything can bother you, anything can anger you, anything can cause bitterness and sadness, etc., when you are living with that identification. So I went on this walk, I had that realization of where my parents are at. That brought me to real empathy and compassion. And then I reflected on where I'm at and what I'm trying to do and how I'm trying to identify. I'm trying to identify with pure consciousness, not with the ego. But then I had this realization, and I thought about all the things that I was spinning on in terms of the things that hurt me or what traumatized me. And this is my experience. I'm not saying this for anyone else, but you can apply this to your own life if you feel comfortable and ready to do this. But I started to really reflect on the traumas and the hurts and what is that? And that's when I realized that all those hurts and traumas that I was processing is an attachment issue. That's me being attached to my ego. Oh, I didn't deserve this. I am hurt. I. That's all the human experience. That's the John experience that is so upset by all these different things. I don't want to be identified with my ego. I don't want to identify with this human experience. I'm grateful for this human experience. I think it's beautiful and amazing. I live life to the fullest, but that's not who I really am. I'm the spirit that is within the human experience. I'm the spirit having the human experience. And that spirit that is the eternal divine source of all love, life, and goodness, that can't be hurt. That can't be damaged. It cannot be negatively impacted. It is pure positivity, it is pure love, pure joy, and pure life, and all these beautiful things. So if I'm hurt or traumatized by what my parents did, ultimately, at a higher level, at a higher spiritual level, that is identification with ego. So when I went on this walk and I had these realizations of like where my parents were and what traumas are to me as an attachment issue, I came back from that walk and I reached out to my dad and I said, I'm going to send you a letter that is a full expression of my forgiveness. And it was real. I wasn't sweeping anything under the rug. It was real because of these realizations. I got to a point where I was completely detached from any hurts that was ever caused. And I got to a point where I was completely in forgiveness and totally detached from any issues that I had. So if you're in a toxic relationship and there's someone that's treating you, that's hurting you, that's saying these things, that's like really putting you down, I'm not suggesting that you need to be a punching bag and just like identify with this pure consciousness and just keep taking the punches. I'm not suggesting that. You should surround yourself with people that love you, with people that align with you, that bring you life, and try to avoid people that drain you, that are toxic to you, etc. I think eventually the more and more and more that you identify with pure consciousness, that unconditional love really starts to well up. And then you really can be around different people, whether they love you or hate you or whatever, but you view everyone as one. And so you're untapping this unconditional love. You know, if this is all new to you, I would recommend, like, don't just take the punches, protect yourself, be good to yourself, but if you identify with pure consciousness and you detach yourself from ego, that is going to be an incredible tool on the path to real forgiveness and detachments from hurts and traumas. So you need to be kind to yourself, surround yourself with people that give you love and life and all these things. Avoid people who really, really drain you or don't align with you. Take care of yourself so that you can fill up your cup. And eventually your cup is gonna be so full and overflowing, and your identification with consciousness is gonna untap unconditional love. And then it kind of doesn't matter who you're around because you just love everyone no matter what. Maybe let's work to get there. But for now, you have this toxic relationship. Identify with this pure consciousness. And when you do that, you're untapping the ability to love and to forgive. You're detaching yourself from anything that hurts your ego. Recognize that this other person, I don't know for sure, obviously, but recognize that this other person that is deeply hurting you may not be connected to their consciousness. They may be deeply, deeply involved with and attached with their own ego. If that's the situation, hopefully that can bring you to a place of love and empathy and compassion and lead you to actual forgiveness. That is going to change the game for you. It's changed the game for me. That's why I'm making this video. I'm making this video because all of this has helped me so much, that I just wanna help others. That's just what I'm doing here. I'm hoping all the best for you. I know that you clicked on this video because you're going through something really difficult with someone in your life. And I am hoping for proper resolution between you and that person. I am hoping for love, life, and goodness for you and the other person and your relationship with the other person. I'm hoping for forgiveness. I'm hoping for reconciliation, all these beautiful things. This life is really a beautiful experience that comes with a lot of hardship as well. And you're in a hardship right now. And so I just want to extend my love to you and my support to you, and I'm hoping all good things. And I hope this video has helped with a little bit of a mindset shift on how you can reach forgiveness and let go of resentment and find some love and reconciliation. If you did find this video helpful, I would greatly appreciate a subscribe, like this video, comment below with your thoughts on this, or maybe other ways that you've dealt with toxic relationships. I want the comment section to be, a support to other people as well. And also let me know if there's anything else that you want me to discuss and make more videos on. Please let me know, and I will read that and listen and produce more videos to hopefully help people in their life. This channel is all about self and God and life experience and spiritual journey and stuff like that. So I hope that it's helpful for you, and I will see you in the next video.